This is the way the Vedic literatures look at. There is a visible, palpable reality around us. And it's our human intellect, human brain, which is trying to understand the laws of nature and so on. Actually, one thought comes to mind, one question comes to my mind. This was a question raised by Professor Carl Sagan. And he asks a question that if you see human beings are intelligent, we understand so many things, and that's how science and technology has evolved and developed. He asks one very interesting question. Does human cognitive abilities permit human beings to understand all of reality, or is there a limit? I'll give an example. Take, for instance, a chimpanzee, which is, according to Darwin's evolution, it's very close to human evolution. And it has a nervous system, it has a brain, it has got left hemisphere, right hemisphere, very much like a human brain. Now, if I were to have a chimpanzee and try to explain to the chimpanzee how our political system works in our country or in other countries of the world, there is an election every few years, and a president or a prime minister gets elected, and all the people vote. The chimpanzee has no ability to understand that. Or you have a dog or a cat in your house, you try to explain to the dog how different things work in this world. They cannot understand. Their brains don't have the cognitive ability to understand these things. There is a limit. Although they have a brain, nervous system which is pretty developed, evolved like a human brain, nervous system, somehow there is a limit and they cannot understand. Now we have also a similar apparatus, the nervous system, with which we do our thinking and analysis. Now, is there a limit to our cognitive abilities beyond which even we are not able to understand some things? This is an interesting question he raises. In fact, the Vedic literatures say, yes, there is a limit to human cognitive powers. There are many other aspects of reality which human beings cannot understand. Another example that comes to my mind is another example given by Professor Charles Townes, who was the inventor of the laser beam. He gives one example to show that how science has a limitation, and there are many things about reality of the world which we perceive, which somehow science cannot comprehend or cannot understand. He gives a simple example. Suppose there is a country with 1,000 people. It's a population, it's an imaginary country which has got 1,000 population. And if you see the resources that are there in the country, whether it's healthcare resources, education, housing, good roads, the country has enough and good resources for 900 people only. And because there is 1,000 population, So there is always a little bit of a struggle and suffering, and some people are not having all the resources and good life, good quality of life, and so on. Now, what is the solution for this? If you strictly look for a scientific solution, the simple scientific solution is you just get rid of 100 people, then everybody will have all the good resources and good quality of life. This is a scientific solution. But can we ever implement this? It will run into dozens of ethical and so many other questions. How do we decide who are the 100 people who are going to be eliminated? Can we eliminate the 100 people? And so on. So you come into certain areas which are outside the domain of science but are very real. So he says that science has a limitation and it can work within a certain domain very well. Now, if there are certain aspects of reality outside that domain, science has no powers to investigate that and understand that. You need probably some other methodology, some other aspect of knowledge system to understand that. So there are many scientists who recognize that there is a boundary, there is a limit within which science can work, and beyond that you need certain other things to understand and investigate. So this is very true in our Vedic understanding that yes, with our senses, with our mind, with our intelligence, with logic, there is a certain limit and there is a certain reality outside of that. You need other methods of knowledge systems to understand that. So very clearly we see that there is a limit to science and you need other methods of knowledge systems.